Hello, everyone. Welcome to Vision to Victory. Today we're doing it a little different. We're not in Canada, we're in Miami with a very special guest, Mr. Tyler here, known as Check on social media. Introduce yourself real quick to the people that don't know you.
What's up, boys? Checking in here. Tyler, also known as Check on Instagram. I live in Miami. I'm an entrepreneur. I like to make money, and I manage OnlyFans girls for a living.
Well, that's very interesting. So, a lot of people know about OnlyFans manager, don't really know what it is. So, tell us more a little bit about what you do and what is OnlyFans management? Because it's a big name, but there's a lot of stuff to it.
Right. It's very broad. For dummies, the best way to explain it would just be essentially helping models make more money on their OF just by providing them with different structures and teams and processes to make them more money, whether it's marketing, helping them with their reels, their TikToks, because the way to explain it is the management team gets a percentage of their earnings for helping them make more money. So it's in the management team's best interest to help this model make more money. Otherwise, the management team's not going to make money itself.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, we're going to help you, but we want a piece of the pie in return.
Sure.
And a lot of the stuff that goes into that consists of providing different account managers and people to handle the sales inside of the page, proper funnels, bringing subs in, because my biggest motto is the more views you get, the more followers you're going to get, and the more subs you're going to get, which just means the more money you're going to make.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us, this is obviously, I wouldn't say a untapped business model, but not saturated. People know, but not everybody's doing it. It's not like e-com or anything. So how did it all start? How did you start this? What's your story?
So back in the day, nobody knows this. I'm actually going to tell you something that nobody knows about me. When I was about to graduate high school, I was getting around 50 to 100,000 Snapchat views on my story. And the demographic was pretty much gay guys. And I was getting them heading me up saying, hey, do you have a premium snap? And 17-year-old me, I'm like, what the fuck is a premium snap? I don't know what the fuck this is. And I started realizing they wanted exclusive content of me. So I just started scamming them. And I would just be
my God.
yeah, I have a premium snap. I'll add you on it. And then one of the guys turned out, he was like, yo, I'm gonna send you $500 right now. Don't scam me. I think you should just turn this into OF and then start making money on there. And then I started OF. Nobody knows this, bro. Not even my family knows this. Not even my closest friends.
That's crazy.
I made my own OnlyFans at 18 when I graduated high school.
Oh, really?
And within 4 months, I had made 25K. And I have the screenshots still in my phone. I made 25K at 18, still living in my parents' crib.
That's crazy.
And I was mad sketched out that people were going to find out, so I deleted the page.
What did you tell your parents? Where was this money coming from?
Dude, I had a lot of followers on TikTok, so I was just saying oh, I'm doing brand deals, I'm doing promo, social media stuff, and they're they fell for it.
Okay, so if I understand well, you were cranking some shit on camera back in the day.
Yeah, I was cranking some shit on camera.
Shit.
And then to dive deeper into how I got into it even more is after I deleted my page, I moved out, went to LA with $2,000 to my name, and was dude, I'm not gonna be able to make money. I'm not gonna be able to pay these fucking $2,000 a month bills without anything coming in. So I started the OF again, put it on the back burner, and then come 2021, I met a porn star, and obviously she was fairly known in the game. Her name's Mila Monet, and she was telling me, she was I'm making 9 to 10K a month on OnlyFans, but I feel like I should be making more. And I'm like, cool, I think I can help you make more. So then we had a deal where I was I'll take 25% of your earnings, but I'll help you with everything. I'll run the account, I'll help you with marketing, content, all of that. So for 8 months straight, I moved in with this girl to LA, dedicated my life to running her up on OF and basically chatting on the page, making sales, telling her what to do for marketing. We had this really good concept for marketing that was bringing anywhere from 500 to 2 million views per video, where I would pick her up from a porn shoot. It was all staged, and she would get in the car and I would try to kiss her, and she'd be like, "Oh no, no,
no,
dude!" It was super staged, but it was bringing in a lot of traffic. I took it from making 9K a month to 40K a month by our
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you say that, the process of how it goes and what do you take, a lot of you guys think that OnlyFans, he can tell you more about it, but OnlyFans management is being a pimp,
exploiting women or sex trafficking, whatever.
It's not that. He was telling me earlier, it's literally just, they're already doing it. You're just making them more money, and then it's a win-win. It's I do marketing for your company or your hustle, and then I take a percentage of the more money I bring you. So
yeah, it's literally
not that unethical.
It's not. I don't think a lot of people think that OnlyFans kind of draws the line with like morality. But you guys have to understand that I'm not forcing these girls to make an OF. I'm not forcing them to do anything that they're not already doing. And I don't like everything that we do as managers is within comfortability of the creator. So whenever we onboard a creator, we're like, hey, we explain it to them like this. Look, we are here to work with you and for you, not make you do anything you don't want to do. So it's kind of like, give us your guidelines, give us your comfortabilities, and then we work within those. So it's not like we hop into some girl's life and we're like, you need to start fucking on camera.
Yeah.
You need to start giving BJs on camera. No, it's not like that. It's like, hey, oh, you're just selling tit pics. Cool, we can work with that. You know.
Okay. And you said you started with one, but like right now, how many models are you managing right now at this day?
So today, as of right now, we have 80 models, but we're constantly onboarding new models. I'll kind of dive deeper into that whole process as we continue to chop it up. But to take you guys from where I was at managing that one model to now is like, I ended up like splitting away from her and I moved back to Miami, and I was like, if I put all of the time that I was putting into her page back into my own page and other creators' pages, I would make a lot more money. So then over the next 2 years from 2021 to 2023, I ran up my personal OF to 1.2 mil.
1.2 million
in net revenue. So majority of that was profit. I was paying out 15% of that to like management fees, but by 22 years old, I had made my first mil.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's pretty good.
From my own personal OF as a guy. And then I was like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. I feel like, I'm better than this, than just like selling pictures of myself. I feel like it doesn't require much skill to make money on OF. Maybe a little bit of knowledge, but not skill. And there's no fulfillment in that. Truthfully, the 1.2 mil that I made on OF doesn't mean much to me because it came very easily.
Yeah.
And
it's the process that counts. Getting there is what makes it valuable.
Exactly. Don't get me wrong, it was difficult, but I will say that there's no fulfillment in that money for me. So like, yeah, I made 1.2 mil by 22, but like what? Selling at what cost? You know what I mean?
Yeah, what cost?
So then I started building out teams and partnering up with different people in the space. Launched our first agency, OnlyFans, and OnlyFans was with me and this guy named Hunter. I still work with Hunter. Absolute genius. We had about 20 different models. I was making anywhere from 10 to 20K a month just from like feeding models into the agency on 5 to 10% kickbacks.
That's good.
And then I'll kind of bring you to where we're at now with the agency we have. So after OnlyFans, stopped working with OnlyFans. We kind of they wanted to do a different project. I wanted to do a different project. So then I launched Manager, which was my most recent agency. And by our 4th month, we had 20 girls, and we were doing around $400,000 in gross revenue. And then we were doing $70,000 a month in cash collected. And
that's crazy.
35 of that was profit.
Oh, really? So you're talking a lot about numbers. Numbers are stuff that are going to motivate you guys and like show you guys this shit works. So what was your biggest month or biggest year so far, if you don't mind sharing it, through this like OnlyFans management stuff? I know you have a couple other hustles, but
absolutely.
What was your biggest month and year with this?
Okay, biggest month personally profit has been 200K.
Okay.
200K on the board. Now, biggest year in net revenue generated, last year we did 34 mil across all the models,
That is crazy.
So we literally generated $34 million last year across all of our models.
If he's able to do it, you guys can too. Like, it's possible.
Dude, I don't think I've ever seen anybody else's inflow in the OFM space with anything higher than 20 to 30 mil in a year.
Yeah, that's crazy. 30, fuck.
It's pretty nuts when you're looking at
you think about it, you're like, damn. So for these people, they're probably like, damn, I want to do this too now. They're hearing those numbers. Right. So I know I think you coach people, or you have a program around that, right? With your Instagram?
So we have a partnership opportunity. And this partnership opportunity, it's our high ticket, the partnership side. And this allows people to leverage our fulfillment teams, our account management teams, our marketing teams, DMCA teams, chat teams, anything you can imagine that is necessary to go into the business model to make it successful. We give people these teams at cost. So instead of like just bringing in a bunch of idiots to the space and letting them figure it out on their own, we're giving them the resources they need to be successful with it. So we're not bringing in any more degenerates into the space, if that makes sense.
Kind of like a kickstart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So other than that, let's say for the people watching want to start OFM or maybe just look into it, what would be one valuable piece of advice you could give to them that you wish you had when you were younger starting this?
I would say having a team built out and understanding delegation and learning delegation is super important, because I think about how much money I missed out on running that first girl just by doing it all by myself. being a one-man team and wanting to generate, 5 figures a month or even 6 figures a month is not possible as a one-man team.
You got to scale that. You could do that with a team, yeah.
I would say ideally having that delegation in place and having those teams in place to handle things like chatting or account management so you can focus on driving traffic to the page.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so enough of OnlyFans management for a little bit. Let's talk a little about Miami because we're out here in Miami, Brickell. Yeah. So you said you moved out to Miami when? In
middle of 2020.
Okay, and I bet that had an effect on you.
It had a huge effect on me.
Tell us more about it because, Miami effect is something people see all over on social media, but people don't really I have something to say about that too after. People don't really elaborate. What's the Miami effect? Yes, you're going to see a fucking Bugatti and Ferraris everywhere, but what does that impact you? What does it have to do with you?
So I came to Miami in 2020, pretty much still broke, just making ends meet, just making enough money to cover the bills, right? And when I first moved here, I was like, holy shit. Number one, this place is sick. And then number two, I started realizing the cost of being able to just be in this environment.
Miami's expensive, bro.
Dinners, food, gas, bro, everything for me. I'm an 18-year-old kid coming from a small town in Georgia. And for me, it's where I'm from, $4K a month takes you a long way. $4K a month here.
You ain't getting shit, bro. That's
and especially a lot has changed from 2020 to now, but the Miami effect as a whole, when I first moved here, I became friends with a couple of kids in Boca. And obviously all these kids came from money, which is fine. But being around these kids that came from money, seeing all the supercars, seeing the crazy houses, seeing the crazy lifestyle that they live, for me, I was like, bro, how the fuck can I do this?
Yeah, exactly. So let me add something on that. So the first time I went to Miami, I used to have this problem in manifestation. So I didn't believe in myself. I wasn't positive because, I'm a young entrepreneur going through a journey that other people on average are not really doing. People stick to school, college, and then end up starting a business. I started right after high school.
Yeah.
And going to Miami had this effect on me that yes, it's humbling. Yes, it's motivation, everything. But it was really just seeing people doing what you want to do and seeing people living the lifestyle you're chasing for, that you vision through your success. And it eliminates all the doubt inside your head and all the, I would say, procrastination.
In a sense, yeah.
In a sense that you could say if he can do it, that's how I live. If he can do it, I can fucking do it too. I'm gonna chase that bag and even become better than that guy. So
exactly.
That's what Miami had a crazy effect on me. First time I came to Miami, I was making $10K a month and I almost doubled my income, maybe tripled, close to that.
Probably just being here alone.
Yeah, just being here, meeting with people. There's also a bunch of opportunities, but there's a bunch of other places like that. But you can meet a lot of good people in Miami. I'm sure you got a couple good friends here from moving.
The network that I have in Miami is unreal. Just from being here over the last 5 years and just going out and just taking opportunities or going to certain events that maybe I'm oh, fuck this event, I don't want to go to it. But then I show up and I'm every time it's worth it.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, I don't go out much. I don't like to party. I don't like to fucking drink. I don't
That's
care for any of that.
The beginner of Miami. You come to Miami for the first time, obviously, the clubs Hit Live.
But then again, when I first came here, I was so broke I couldn't even go out.
Yeah, that's true.
I was so broke I couldn't even go out. When I first came here, I was selling shoes. I was selling Supreme tees. I was trading stocks for $50 to $100. I was doing DoorDash, dude. I had a fucking Ford Ranger when I came here. For me, it was a whole different ball game.
That's
I
crazy.
was just dude. I remember when I had my first decent month living in Miami, I think I had made maybe $5K that month. And the first thing I did is I went to South Beach and I had fucking surf and turf from one of the restaurants there. And I remember seeing that bill, the receipt, and it was $110. And I'm I earned this fucking meal, dog. I felt so good. I saved that receipt. I have it in a shoebox.
Really?
To this day.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good.
When I had a good month, I was I'm gonna go have a nice dinner. My boy was broke. He wasn't figuring it out, and I'm yo, you want to come to this dinner? He's bro, I can't afford it. And I'm I'm gonna go have this fucking nice dinner by myself because I fucking earned it.
Yeah, you earned it. Yeah. But people often come to Miami thinking they're gonna make a bunch of money and end up spending it all because there's so many distractions. So you have to be careful. You have to take it to your advantage, not let Miami take advantage of you.
Yeah, because Miami can really take advantage of you seeing these other kids being successful. A lot of people don't understand that they're only seeing highlight reels of these kids' lives. They don't know what's going into it. They don't see behind the scenes. They don't know how much these kids are actually making. Because truthfully, you could make $25K a month in Miami and make it look like you make $500,000 a month, in my opinion. Or maybe you could even be making $50K a month and still make it look like you're a multimillionaire.
Yeah,
It's very easy to fake a lifestyle here, I feel like.
People be renting cars everywhere. Like, you don't know if someone owns a car or he does. I mean, he has a pretty nice car. I could vouch for that. We could post a vlog with that. It's pretty sick. But yeah, one tip I would give you guys is like, get out of your hometown. Like I'm from Canada, Montreal, some fucking random spot in the woods. Like, the first time I came to Miami and I met some people, it unlocked so many doors and opportunities. So you don't have to like move out if you don't have the money or wealth to do that yet. Just like go for a week or two in a high like city with a lot of money in it, meet people, seek opportunities, and see that lifestyle that you want to live. So you're able to visualize it. And like, I know it's easy to say, but it's hard to think like, yo, this is possible. I can fucking do this. Like, $1 million a month, like crazy numbers like that.
Yeah.
You could you could say it, but thinking it is very difficult.
It is. It can be very difficult. I used to write down like 5-10 times a day. Like, I am working harder than ever. I am, being more consistent. I am super disciplined.
Sure.
Things like that helped me a lot back when I first moved to Miami. Cause dude, it was a struggle for me. Like, I didn't leave the crib at all. I couldn't leave the crib unless it was to go like work and do DoorDash. It was, dude, when I first came to Miami, I ate so much shit, and then I still ate a decent amount of shit before I finally had my breakthrough. But Miami being here, it can make or break you in a sense to where it's like,
there's no in between. I feel like it's just rich or poor.
Yeah, and it's like you can either get caught up in the mix and then you get fucked, or you can stay out of the mix, use it as motivation, lock in, make your money, and then start living the life that you want to live.
Yeah, one thing though, like, I was thinking about moving to Miami. This is something I'm planning on doing. It's a little complicated since I'm a Canadian citizen. But like, for these people, like saying like, yo, I have the money, I'm not making crazy money. Is it worth moving out? Because I feel like these cities are pretty expensive to live in. There's like, yes, it's good to lock in. There's so many distractions. Would you say, how much does someone have to be making a month to be able to say, I'm gonna take the risk of moving out to Miami, or let's say California, that's a good place too.
Yeah.
Something like that. At a young age, like, what would you recommend?
Dude, you have nothing to lose when you're 18, 19, 20, 21. You have nothing to lose. So when I came to Miami, when I even left my hometown in general to go to a place like LA and Miami, I had $2,000 to my name.
How do you manage to?
I literally have a
statement. Like 3 jobs, hustling.
I was doing all my social media shit. So I was making money from selling Snapchat promos. I was making money from, I had a Fashion Nova brand with TikTok, a brand deal. They were paying me $2K for whatever. But I would say, ideally, to answer your question, straightforward, bro, $2 to $4K a month. Figure it out, bro. You can get a 1-bed, 1-bath. You can get a studio for
like in South Beach or something.
You can't wait until you're gonna be comfortable to make that move, because you're never gonna make that move. You have to put yourself in the position of uncomfortability in order to even make it to that.
You gotta take risks. Level. Talking about risks, what would you say is the biggest? Except probably the biggest one is moving out here.
Yeah,
that was a risk. But other than that, what is one of the biggest risks you took to be able to be where you are today?
I would say going down to my last dollar on certain opportunities has been the biggest thing that allows me to level up. Every time I go down to my last dollar on whether it's myself or a business or whatever, it's hard and it sucks for a couple months, but it always pays out.
Yeah, some of you guys are skeptical, like have a couple $1,000s to your name, and you're like, oh, I don't think this $1,000 mentorship is worth. Like, this guy's making a lot of money, you're not. Like, he obviously has something to teach you. So invest in yourself, take a lot of risks. Like, you're not going to get somewhere you want to be without taking risks and not being sure about your next move. Like,
yeah, it's true.
It'll never be the perfect opportunity.
And there's no such thing as a plan B, in my opinion. I feel like if you have a plan B, you're not confident in your plan A. So there's no point of even trying to take that risk if you feel like you need something to fall back on,
I mean, there's 2 ways to see. You can't be like super degenerate too. You can be delusional a little bit, but you have to have some sort of plan on the back, and like, I'm trying this out. What if it doesn't work? You don't think so?
Why can't you be a degenerate? Why can't you be delusionally confident like that?
I feel like there's a limit for it, though. Like, risk management is really important in business. You have to put your money at the right place. There's a bunch of opportunities everywhere, like big cities like this.
Right. But you know that saying, right? You lose $1,000 making your first 10K. You're gonna lose 10K making your first 100K.
Yeah, that's true.
You're gonna lose 100K making your first mil, and you're gonna lose a mil making your first 10 mil.
That's true, and like a lot of people I've been seeing in these interviews, like every like crazy successful entrepreneur has been broke multiple times, at least once.
Dude, 100%. And you have to understand. I talked to my friend Teddy the other day. He's worth a lot of money, and I asked him, I'm like, Did you ever have any points in your life where like it got like you felt like you were like almost like broke? Like did you like how many times did you go broke before you finally had your breakthrough? And yo, he's very wealthy to this day. You know what he told me?
What?
He said, I still feel like I'm broke today.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's a mindset you build in the process. Like you'll always want more. Like money
Always.
is a drug. Like it's so addicting. Like,
You never, let me tell you guys something. You never become satisfied. I had a friend that was making 2 to 4K a month. He was like, when I'm making 50K a month and I can have my M3 in my apartment in Miami, I'll be happy. Guess what? He's making 250K a month right now.
Still not happy.
You think he's
crazy.
happy?
No.
You think he's cool with 250K a month?
Nah, you want more, 500K.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
But one thing we were talking about earlier, like you guys, some of you guys maybe already advanced, but for you guys starting, you know, you're probably gonna hit your 10K a month, hopefully in 2025. I wish the best for you guys.
Absolutely.
That's the richest you'll ever fucking feel. Like, I'm telling you guys, the first 10K you hit, you're gonna feel like the boss, bro, like the top guy.
And you're more than likely gonna blow it.
Yeah, blow it all. Like, yeah, but that.
And you deserve to go
get
blow
a lot
that
of lessons
10K.
from that though.
Yeah, you
It's
do.
really important lessons. I would say the best way of learning, and that's a good side on the argument we had earlier, like kind of being degenerate and delusional.
Dude, yeah.
Because you're gonna fuck up, and you learn from fucking up. That's the best way to learn.
And
Failure.
people are gonna go back to the beginning of this podcast and be like, "Oh, you said you made like 25K off OF when you were 18." I blew that money entirely. I blew all that shit on Gucci, a fucking $5,000 Ford Ranger, going to buy fucking vapes or whatever, fucking off, and I blew it. And then that's why I only had 2K when I moved to LA, because I blew all my fucking money.
Yeah, the podcast, you're not aware, but the podcast with Raymond, the first podcast today, actually we spoke about that. I was starting to make like 10K a month, like 9K a month, something around that. And I was like, fuck it, I need to get out of my hometown. Everybody's saying that, like, I need to go somewhere, meet some people. And I spent almost 100% of my whole net worth in Miami in a week. I spent 20K in a week going to clubs, renting cars.
Easy.
I actually crashed one.
Oh,
so
no
that
way.
kind of fucked me over. Airbnbs everywhere, but I had some fun and I manifested it. And then when I got back home, I was like, fuck, I blew all my fucking money. What am I doing?
Gotta lock in, yeah.
I was pissed, but then it made me lock in. It's kind of like what you're saying. You got to lose your first 10K, make 100K. And then I ran it the fuck up. Got a couple ups and downs. You know, it's not always going to be stable, but
100%.
you know, I fucked up, but at the same time, it was so good for me. Like any day, I would take that decision, even if I was back in the past and I knew that. I would take that decision, bro. Like balling out in Miami, saying it like that, it's not really good, but manifestation is extremely important, and you have to visualize. You have to have a plan.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't make all this money and not enjoy it to an extent.
For sure, yeah.
You know. Like I say I'm against partying. Truthfully, I'm very against partying. I don't like clubs. I don't like space. I don't like any of these clubs. But if I'm going to go spend my money in Miami, there's 2 things I'm going to do. I'm either going to go on a boat or I'm going to go to the strip club.
Strip club?
Yeah.
Why the strip club?
I mean, think about it. I mean, you go to a club, right? And 9 times out of 10, you're with probably 5 different dudes and you guys are splitting a section.
Yeah.
And you probably have absolutely no bitches coming with you. You're just hoping to find bitches at the club.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I see the point.
You're going to go spend 2 to 3K, maybe 5K at a table with your boys. You're going to have a good time, right? But you're not going to have ass shaking in your face immediately. Yeah, think about it. When you walk in the strip club, when you walk in the strip club and you're going to go blow through a couple racks, would you rather be having cheeks in your face, having a good time, or would you rather just be looking at a bunch of girls in the strip club or in the club?
I'm a little young, but like,
yeah,
5K in the strip club, you know, you could go far with that.
Dude, you can go far with that, dog.
Extremely far.
And sometimes it gets crazy,
go back
dude.
home.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes it gets crazy. Like, I had to stop. Dude, I was going for the first time ever. I had my little bender in Miami a couple months ago when I got out of a relationship, and I was going to the strip club way too much. And I would just wake up the next morning and see like I spent like 5K, and I'm just like, bro, what happened? Like, what was I doing? You know?
You know what you
and
were
yo,
doing.
I'm telling you right now, this podcast, I'm being the most raw, authentic, like everything that I've ever. I'm dropping shit here that I haven't dropped anywhere.
It's about to get clipped.
It's gonna get clipped for sure.
Yeah. Also about that, like I'm telling you guys, there's no script. We're just freestyling this podcast. Like I need to look at the time. We've been in like 20 minutes,
20 minutes,
20 something, and so we're gonna go for like 30 still. But yeah, we're just freestyling this out. Hopefully give you guys some value. So talking about value, let's get back on OFM. These people are probably curious about OFM. So tell us more about, like, is there some cool stuff they could know about OFM? What does it consist of? Like, how exactly do you get started? Like, obviously you offer some sort of guidance
and guidance
but
in
like,
return.
What would be the first step for someone to want to start OFM?
I would say the first step is understanding that you need to provide value in some sense. Right now, we have a partner in our partnership, and he's like, dude, like, I want to land more models. And it's like, okay, do you have any skill sets? And he's like, yeah, actually, I've had experience filming OFTV videos for girls. And I'm like, that's your way in with every single model. You DM them, you tell them, hey, I would love to film. Do you know about OFTV? Yeah, they do. Cool. I would love to shoot with you. I have experience filming OFTV videos in the past. He was able to get on 10 calls immediately with that outreach message.
That's crazy.
So it's just about being able to provide value and to be able to get connected with models. You never know who in your network knows a model that you could possibly work with. Like, you may have friends that know F girls.
Yeah,
I have friends that know F girls. So it's like activating people in your network to connect you with these girls is probably the fastest way to get models, and then also providing some sort of value.
For sure. Yeah, one thing I like to say, I say this in a lot of my content and content that's coming, is most of you guys are trying too much shit at the same time. Trying e-com, FBA, YouTube,
Crypto,
OFM, crypto, like
day trading.
I'm telling you guys, no one that tried everything at the same time has became successful. Like maybe a couple exceptions with luck.
Right.
But in order to provide value, you have to be the best at what you do to surpass your competitors. So focus on one skill, become the best at it, and then provide value with that. Kind of like he said, like the TV shit. Like, if he would have focused on e-com, FBA, and everything, he probably wouldn't be where he's at right now.
I mean,
focus on one thing.
I literally did trading, reselling, and DoorDash. I was doing all three of those at the same time. That wasn't gonna get me rich. I found OFM. I've gotten out of OFM and in OFM probably 3 to 4 different times. And you know why? Because every time I leave, I realize how much money there is in it.
Yeah, I'm starting to understand the market a little bit from talking with you, and there's a lot of money to be making that. I'm not really familiar with it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of money to be made in that.
To give you a reference, we have one girl that we signed a couple months ago, and she was making like $3K a month. We signed her at 50% just because we have to put a lot more work into smaller pages to get them off the ground. She had 120K a month. Immediately out the gate from just organic marketing, I put 10K in my pocket.
So you were getting 50?
50%, yeah.
Damn.
That's the highest I take from clients. I don't really like taking anything higher than 30 because 30 is like industry standard. But again, a lot of the percentages and the way that you sign a model, you want to base it on where they're at because you don't want to undercut yourself. You don't want to put yourself in a position to where like, you have to understand girls will lie about their earnings. I've hopped on calls with girls that tell me in the DMs, they're like, yeah, I made like 20K last month. And then I get on the call with them, I'm like, hey, can you send me a screenshot of your earnings or whatever? And they're like, yeah, I'll send you it. And Bro, they made like fucking 8K.
Oh, wait. You were sharing me a story of that earlier. I want you to share it here. So, apparently there was a bitch that ran off with your money or something. To talk to me with that.
Yeah, so whenever we had new fans, we had this girl and she was crushing, bro. Crushing. Making like 50K a month.
Oh, shit.
And for us at the time, with our first like full agency in effect, that was one of our biggest clients. She completely dipped to Hawaii.
Really?
She owed us like 10K. And just blocked us on everything.
She was making 50. Why didn't she give you 10?
She was blowing all of it. Her rent was 10K in LA before she did.
Oh, shit.
She just dug herself in a hole. She had bad spending habits, and it fucked us because we didn't have certain contracts and systems in place to kind of save our ass.
But I bet that gave you a lesson.
Yeah.
So since then, that shit doesn't happen anymore.
No, not at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Not at all. And I'll tell you what, if we do miss payments from girls, it's usually because it's from like a client that's usually a small account or a low quality account, because most of the time, whenever you're providing results and doing a service for people that are already established, they don't really question it, or they don't really hesitate to pay you because you're delivering the service and you're helping them out. But like the smaller creators and the smaller accounts, it's more often that it can happen just because they're more volatile to go jump from agency to agency because they don't know much about it, you know?
Let's talk about big earnings. So we were talking about that earlier too. Sophie Rain, you know, that's someone that you guys probably know.
For sure.
She made a shit ton of money. I saw the video of like she was
gross.
Making, like,
she made 43 mil. I think that comes out to close to like 32 mil. After OnlyFans takes their 20%.
And then they're probably managers and stuff.
And then manager fees probably was like anywhere. Dude, these girls probably have private teams. A lot of these girls do. And they probably take anywhere from like 25 to 50%.
That is crazy. So some dude cooked like...
Some dude cooked a couple M's off of Sophie Rain.
Fucking hell, bro. Yeah. Like, that's crazy. If you're watching the podcast, bro, like...
Good work.
Hit me up. I want you on podcast.
Yeah, like, honestly, I'd love to get you... I'd love to get connected. Whatever.
Yeah, that's tough.
I mean, I got sauce, but... That's crazy sauce.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it kind of pisses me off that like bitches can make that much money from just showing their body, and then, I mean, you're kind of in that space, but like in my space, you have to fucking grind to earn like a couple M's or even a M.
Yeah, and
So
also they're
it's
not all
stupid.
bitches. They're not all bitches. Like, we should
Yeah.
refrain from using bitches because like, you know, there's girls in the space that are literal bitches and they're they're annoying and they suck and they're just a bunch of haters. But there's also a lot of very
Hustlers.
like level-headed hustlers in the
Yeah.
space. I mean, I'm good friends with a couple big creators. I was gonna say another big tip for connecting to creators is going to events, showing up to like maybe Exotica, AVNs, where all these big like porn stars and creators go to.
Okay.
Because they're just you can access them for just like paying a pass and going in and
Yeah.
meeting them, taking pictures with them.
And, then you
And
can,
it's like
pitch them.
it's about building familiarity.
Yeah,
You know, once they see your face a couple of times, they're gonna be cool with you.
Yeah, for sure.
I got
for sure.
invited to a couple of Kazumi's launch parties. She did like a weed brand. I got invited to that. That really tapped me in. I provided services for her. I actually helped her get one of her Twitter accounts back, and then she reposted me on her story. Everything that I've done in the OFM space has been directed to build familiarity and to get people to see my name. So whether it was me being a creator, creating content with some of these girls to get in the door with them, or providing a service for them, whether it was social media related or anything I can help them with. You guys have to understand a lot of these girls need help with almost everything across the board, whether it's social media management, posting, you know, anything delegation wise that helps them make more money. If you can provide value in that aspect, whether it's editing, clips, whatever, dude, it's sauce. Like it's something you can use to your advantage to get in contact with them, truthfully.
Talking about familiar faces, bro. This motherfucker got a picture of fucking Johnny
Yeah,
Sins, bro.
everybody's doctor, lawyer, astronaut.
Yeah, bro. Like, what's the backstory behind that? Like, you just got a pic with Johnny Sins like this. Like, I was like, what the fuck?
Yo, this is a crazy story. So this is how I got the picture with Johnny Sins. Are you ready for this?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Dude, okay. All right. The girl I was managing, right?
Yeah.
She was a porn star. And I knew that going into our little transactional relationship.
Okay.
Because we were kind of dating, like actually,
Kinda.
behind the scenes.
Okay.
But she was still shooting with other creators. And you have to understand, I was only okay with this because I was coming from a position where I had no leverage financially. So
Okay,
I was
'cause
using this
you would mind
opportunity
You would
to
mind
make
your
money.
girl getting cranked by Johnny Sins,
So,
but you needed the money, so you're like, it's
so let
okay.
me explain you. So one day she gets a DM, Johnny Sins, I want to shoot with you.
Oh my god.
I'm like, run it.
Run it. That's
Run it.
some money, man.
You know?
Yeah.
So she goes, I drive her to Vegas, drop her off at Johnny Sins' crib. She shoots with him for like an hour. I go pick her up. And as I'm picking her up, she's like, you want to meet him? I'm like, obviously.
Yeah.
So I go meet him, dab him up, get a picture. And then that video the next month sold around 10 to 15K worth of sales.
That's good.
And I'm getting a
how does that
percentage off
work?
of that. And also, you want to know something even crazier about that
What?
interaction? I had to edit that sex tape. Yeah. Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
bro.
But 25% in my pocket. So
That's fucking crazy.
at what cost? At what cost?
Okay.
Yeah.
What's-
This is an untold story. Nobody knows this.
What the fuck? Okay. All right. Fuck, you got me on the spot right there.
And you know how Johnny Sins got into porn?
Oh,
Craigslist ad. That's what he
Bro,
was telling me.
the
Yeah.
fuck? I want to know something. I don't know if you could maybe disclose this, but how does Johnny Sins work? Like, let's say he fucks your girl. Like,
Okay.
does he take a cut? Like, is
No.
it 50-50? How does it work?
So like in the industry, whenever a lot of these creators collab and do like a sex tape, right? A BG shoot, a lot of it's like a content trade. So you guys also a huge misconception about the industry is like people have fucking STDs everywhere. The industry is very standardized with testing and they're very it's very facilitated in a sense to where like you don't shoot with each other or even touch each other until you swap test results. So you
Okay.
swap test results, you guys are doing your content trade. Johnny Sins is filming on his camera, whatever. She's filming on her camera, whatever. Maybe they both use the same angles. They both get the content in the video. He edits it however he wants. She edits it however she wants.
They both.
She sells it for her price. Maybe they agree to sell it for the same price, but they
Okay.
keep all their earnings separately on the platforms they sell it on for themselves.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're pretty much getting on a wrap for the podcast. So, do you want to end on anything, like a little piece of advice or anything before we wrap this up?
Biggest piece of advice that I can give is to not be bothered and to not care about what anybody thinks, because you guys have to understand that, dude, like, it's not that serious. Whatever it is you're doing, whatever it is people think about what you're doing, it's really not that serious. They're going to forget about it in a couple of days. You guys are going to forget that Johnny Sins banged my ex-chick in probably a couple weeks. I mean, the people that found out about it a couple years ago when I got a YouTube video dropped on me about it, They probably forgot about it. They're probably going to also comment on this that they remember me. Moral of the story, whatever it is you want to do, just do it. Don't give a fuck about what anybody thinks, because the more you care about what people think, the more it's going to change the direction of where you're going with that. So just be unbothered. Don't care. Do what you want. Go all in, and try not to put your hands in too many different buckets. Otherwise, it's just not going to work out.
That's a good piece of advice. Yeah, focus on your vision and your vision only, bro.
And this is going to sound very crazy, but trust God. God's got a plan.
For sure, yeah.
Somehow in my plan, it has to do with OnlyFans. I don't know how, but, trust God, truthfully.
Very good. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to get more podcasts like this. It was actually, like, really interesting. We got some, like, little humor in that, some funny stuff, but actually some good value. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments how you guys like this. Any questions for Check right here, And who should I bring up next?
Johnny Sins.
Johnny Sins. That's a good idea. All right, take care, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir.